This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 10.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
The sentencing phase of the trial against Felix Alonso began today. Alonso pleaded guilty yesterday to robbing his step-grandfather at gunpoint. Now, this was the scene near 122nd Street in Chicago in July of 2019. Larry Favre's wife said she saw her husband on the ground surrounded by three people wearing hoods and masks. Favre told her to run because the men had guns, and as she ran to her daughter's house nearby, she says she heard a single gunshot. 67-year-old Larry Favre died in the robbery. And today the prosecution presented evidence that showed Alonso had planned the crime. That evidence included ski masks, gloves, all black clothing, and guns. However, the defense said their client had a plan but never intended to hurt his step-grandfather. Alonso is facing up to 99 years in prison.
We're following reports of a hit and run that police believe led to a car crashing into a house in central Lubbock this evening. Police say they received a call regarding a hit and run near 34th and Quaker sometime before 4:30 this afternoon. As officers were responding, police say they received a second call to a home near 32nd and Knoxville where a car had crashed into a home. Police believe the two wrecks are connected. Initial reports indicate the driver of the hit and run crashed into the home while fleeing. No injuries have been reported at this time, fortunately. We will keep you updated on air and online as we learn more.
One person is in jail tonight after leading Lubbock County Sheriff's deputies on a high-speed chase along the South Loop this evening. According to LSO, the chase started after a deputy tried to stop a car for a traffic violation on the South Loop frontage road near Ash Avenue. The pursuit ended roughly 15 minutes later near the Tahoka Highway exit of the highway. The sheriff's office says the driver sustained a dog bite after failing to comply and was taken to the hospital. The driver has not yet been identified as deputies continue to investigate.
In Austin, hundreds of Texans, including families and victims from Uvalde, rallied outside of the Capitol to push for gun reform. Supporters are demanding action, including stronger red flag laws and raising the age to buy certain firearms. Representative Roland Gutierrez, whose district includes Uvalde, has introduced multiple bipartisan bills on gun reform over the past month for this year's legislative session. The rally comes more than 9 months after a gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary. One survivor took the stage and delivered a message to Governor Abbott.
He shot at my door and a bullet went over my head. I remember hearing my best friend scream, and I remember hugging her that morning. I shouldn't have to be here right now, but I am, because my friends don't have a voice no more. Greg Abbott's done nothing to protect me or my friends.
Last October, Governor Abbott said raising the age to buy a semi-automatic weapon is unconstitutional. Other states, such as Florida, however, raised the age after the Parkland mass shooting left 17 people dead in 2018.
In a much different meeting at the Capitol today, the Texas Tech Alumni Association gathered with Red Raiders to speak with state legislators about funding for the university. Today was Texas Tech Day at the Capitol, an opportunity for Red Raiders to advocate for funding and initiatives on behalf of the university. Texas Tech is hoping to maintain the $50 million in institutional enhancement funding that was granted by the legislature in 2021. It was originally a one-time grant to ease the burden of COVID-19 for colleges and universities. But now, Texas Tech says it is trying to get that renewed and applied toward academic excellence, student success, and research.
At the governor's mansion, Lubbock was represented in the group celebrating Texas receiving its 11th consecutive Governor's Cup Award today. That's a recognition from Site Selection magazine, which recognizes job creation and capital investments. John Osborne, the chairman of the Lubbock Economic Development Alliance, was in attendance for that ceremony. During his remarks, Governor Abbott attributed these awards to a lack of regulations, no state income tax, and Texas's business-friendly environment.
Turning now to our weather, it is a clear, cool night. The skies are beautiful, and if you think you saw a UFO out there tonight, you are not alone.
We asked John about it, and you may not like his answer. He joins us now with the first check of the forecast and a focus on the planets. They are identified.
As a matter of fact, yeah, they were planets. It's a beautiful night. You know, the skies cleared out. We've got some video here from our photojournalist Peyton Tubes, and it should show that. And we've gotten some photos on our Facebook pages and stuff. This is Venus and Jupiter in conjunction. This is the closest they've been, and I don't know how long it's been since they've been that close, but what's going to happen in the next couple of nights is Venus is going to gradually get higher in our sky, and Jupiter is going to be getting closer to the sunset range or on the horizon. So we've got that video to show you now, but it was spectacular. Thank goodness the dust settled out and clear skies. So a little excitement tonight. You can find more on our Facebook pages for that. As far as looking ahead to tomorrow, we've got high wind watch in effect again over the South Plains. We have a wind advisory in the southern South Plains. Unfortunately, we're going to see winds gusting up 40 to 50 in some areas, maybe up to 60 miles an hour here in Lubbock. Right now it's different. Southeast winds at 11, 47 degrees. Tomorrow, frontal boundary brings strong west winds. That in turn will push temperatures up to around 60 degrees, Karen and Abner, and bring us a slight chance of rain and maybe snow tomorrow night.
We'll take it. Thank you, John. Some pet owners in Lubbock are having to wait up to 9 months to receive care for their four-legged friends. That's because of a nationwide vet shortage that's being felt right here on the South Plains, too.
KCBD News Channel 11's Patricia Perry tells us what could be causing the shortage and how a clinic in Lubbock is dealing with it.
More than 40 cats and dogs are in this room waiting to be spayed or neutered. This is a typical sight in Pets Clinic of Lubbock.
It would be amazing to have additional hands to get through some of those surgery requests that we have.
This is a low-cost spay and neuter clinic that also does preventative care. Lead veterinary technician Caitlin Dawson says without it, some pets in the hub city may not receive this necessary care.
We serve thousands of patients every year, and a lot of our clients say that they wouldn't be able to afford veterinary care if it wasn't for our more accessible option.
Thousands of four-legged friends walking through the doors of the clinic and not having enough help to do procedures has Pets Clinic booked months in advance.
The need here is so high. Our female cats are booked out 8 to 9 months. Our female dogs are 6 to 8 months. Our male dogs were booked out 2 months, and our male cats were booked out about a month.
There are 2 vets who help at the clinic, but can only be there occasionally.
If we had more veterinarians, we would be able to be open for maybe another day or at least an evening clinic where that might be a little bit more accessible to some people who work during the day.
Dawson says one issue that could be contributing to the national vet shortage is education. She says there are about 30 vet schools in the country, which are very competitive.
So there are a very high number of applicants, but they can only accept so many. So every year there's only so many vets that will come out of each school.
Dawson says Pets Clinic has been looking for additional vets since it first opened in 2020. Patricia Perry, KCBD News Channel 11.
Some students at Texas Tech are giving the gift of increased transportation to folks in Open Doors housing program. Director of the program, Jason Hedrick, says students were looking for a way to make an impact on the community, so they put together a proposal for 10 e-bikes. Those bikes will go to 10 members of Open Doors supportive housing program. Savannah Ivy is one of the students who created it.
That was one of their biggest issues, to getting to the resources, getting jobs, and just overall being able to successfully live here in Lubbock was transportation. So it's just really nice to finally see it all come together from just like oh, maybe we'll do that, to like it's actually happening.
The funding for the bikes was made possible by the Helen Jones Foundation.
Well, it's finally happening. After 50 years, Joyland Amusement Park is saying its final goodbye after a last-effort plan here to save the park fell through in January. Owner David Dean tells us it started in 1973 with just 13 rides and barely any fencing. His family's persistence paid off over the next 5 decades, more than doubling its size. The pandemic wasn't the first challenge for the family-owned business, but it was one of the hardest, forcing it to try selling last year. And now it's getting dismantled and sold off piece by piece. For Dean, that means memory by memory.
some of the parks that have bought us really treasure the memories and the heritage of this business. So they'll honor Joyland at their park in, say, Pennsylvania. So that's pretty cool, and that makes me feel as good as I can feel.
Dean says there may be plans to keep some of the rides here in Lubbock, and to stay updated on that, you can go to Joyland's Facebook page.
Shallow water is showing up for one of its own. Spencer Henry, paramedic and Little League coach, was seriously hurt in a crash in December.
Since then, the community has been shelling out some support, and KCBD News Channel 11's Brittany Michelson shows us why.
Very nice. I love the game of baseball, and I love passing on the knowledge of the game, and I love passing on the want to play. And my son loves this game, so I love being involved, and he likes when I coach, so I'm going to be here. Parker, you're on the mound. Maddox, you're on first base.
Spencer Henry has been coaching his son's Little League baseball teams for the last 5 years.
Keep your head up, buddy.
It's something a severe brain and spinal cord injury couldn't get in the way of.
Find that strike zone, big guy.
Henry was a paramedic for 14 years, spending 8 of those with AeroCare. He also did landscaping, helping revamp this field.
I did a lot of the work on that field to make it a better place, because it used to be called the Sandlot for a reason.
After winning an auction to give it a new name, business Fred's Garage chose Henry Field in his honor. Since Henry was seriously hurt in a crash on his way to work in December, the field's name hasn't been the only sign of support. The shallow water community is thanking Henry for his service as a first responder and coach. The league is hosting a benefit baseball tournament. A man donated a Jeep to raffle off, and friends helped them move into a wheelchair-accessible home.
The generosity of the community has been amazing. I mean, they have come through in so many different ways, and they have done so many things for me and my family that we're extremely blessed.
All to help Henry's family as he adjusts to a new life, and so he can keep doing what he loves.
I enjoy doing it, and I wish that I could continue to do what I used to do here at this field, because I did a lot of physical labor at both of these fields, but I can't really do that anymore. But I can still be involved as a coach. I can still teach these kids the game. I can still grow their passion for the game and enjoy doing it.
Brittany Michelson, KCBD News Channel 11.
To support Henry and for the chance at a new ride, tickets for the Jeep raffle are $50 each. We have the link to buy a ticket and support Henry's family directly at kcbd.com.
Now, good news for millions of patients with diabetes, and hopefully new price cuts will be contagious.
But first, the winds will bring in some temperature changes soon, plus a potential for snow. Your complete First Alert forecast is next on KCBD News Channel 11 at 10.
Tell you what, we've got some more wind coming up in West Texas tomorrow, and yes, it's going to be strong, but at least it's not going to last very long. You can see in a 7-day forecast for winds. I do expect winds tomorrow, and there is that high wind watch in effect that could be gusting as high as 40 to 50 miles an hour. We've got a potential of some cloud cover that might help out. They decrease Friday. They are going to be up a little bit Saturday, Sunday. Guess what? Another storm coming through on Monday, and then they decrease again Tuesday and Wednesday. And what will happen is the frontal boundary sliding into the area tomorrow. Winds start out relatively light, most of the central and eastern areas, at least around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Stronger west, the front comes in the morning hours, and then the winds really start ramping up, as you could tell, around noon to 1. And it's this area in the central South Plains, high wind watch currently in effect. And if it really pans out tomorrow morning, our forecast models indicate that they might issue a high wind warning. We'll see, especially if the winds have a better potential of getting 55 to 60 miles an hour. We're hoping that doesn't happen. As I mentioned, there will be some cloud cover coming in the afternoon, but we're talking about strong winds over a large part of the South Plains, blowing dust, elevated fire danger once again. Fortunately, the winds will be decreasing late Thursday. Friday morning, they'll be much lighter, but as they turn more to the north, northwest, and then generally west-northwest, that's going to keep much cooler temperatures Friday morning. We may dip down around the upper 20s or maybe 30 here in Lubbock. Precipitation chances really hit and miss. Some snow in New Mexico, a little rain rain, and this is in the afternoon period tomorrow with that system coming through. That will actually increase in coverage slightly, change over to maybe a winter mix. It's been showing snow. Right now it's got a little more of a mix coming in between Amarillo and Lubbock. There might be a few areas that get some light measurable amounts there, but it looks like it may not be enough to even do anything except look at maybe. That's probably our probability for any significant precipitation at all. Now, as far as your lows in the morning, back around 40 degrees in Lubbock, 47 in Snyder, chilly 40 in Seminole. It's going to be 30s in the northwestern areas. Off to the east, around 40 to 42 on the average. Jayton will check in at 44. Tomorrow, Jayton checks in at 66. Lubbock hoping for the low 60s, but it looks like 50s. Plainview, Littlefield, Muleshoe, all the way down along the Texas-New Mexico state line as that cooler air spills in, especially northern areas. So when you look at the 7-day forecast, keep in mind the rain chances, possibly mixed with a little snow late tomorrow, very slim. Temperatures should range from around 40 in the morning, around 60 or so tomorrow, might even edge in the low 60s depending on the front, and then 30 to 64. Saturday brings us to our Severe Weather Awareness Day. Looks like we will be in the 60s. Good news there, some 70s coming up on Sunday. But we're going to go once again from spring with the strong winds to a little snow in the winter, and then we're back to spring for the weekend just in time for our Severe Weather Awareness, that annual event, Karen and Abner. As you know, it's fun and it's instructional to keep people safe with severe weather season coming up.
Good. Thank you, John.
We're getting it all this week, aren't we? Healthwise is next.
Here's Healthwise with Karen McKay.
Encouraging news today for people with diabetes. Pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly announced it is planning to cut the price of insulin by 70% and cap patient costs for its insulin products to no more than $35 a month. The move was immediately praised by the president and the American Diabetes Association because patients who need insulin have no choice but to pay what it costs to keep alive.
It's just the right thing to do, and I applaud the decision.
It's a fantastic step forward, but it is by no means the end of the fight.
Grace Bennett works for a nonprofit that supports diabetes research. Her concern is while millions will benefit by this price cut, there could still be millions who won't save any money because this deal only involves Eli Lilly products, and many patients are getting their insulin from other sources. Well, a new warning tonight from the American Cancer Society. The rate of colorectal cancer is climbing fast in the under 55 age group, and most are showing up at an advanced stage. Justin Kelly found his cancer at 45 after ordering Cologuard in the mail to test for colon cancer at home.
I'll share what my doctor told me when she came in to share the news. She said, "You wouldn't have made it to 50 without coming in to see me." That's how, far along it was.
The ACS reports the incidence of colorectal cancer under age 55 has nearly doubled in 25 years. Symptoms to watch for include a change in bowel habits, blood in the stool, abdominal pain, unintentional weight loss, fatigue, and shortness of breath. Today, the American Cancer Society says the best way to reduce your risk is to get screened for colon cancer starting now at the age of 45. Cologuard, by the way, is ordered through a prescription, but if you don't have a healthcare provider, you can still request Cologuard online through a telemedicine provider.
Coming up next, the Texas Tech baseball team swept Air Force this afternoon to conclude their 10-game homestand.
And the Lady Raider basketball team hosted TCU tonight for their last home game of the season. Berkeley has highlights coming up in sports.
KCBD Live from the Lubbock National Bank Sports Desk.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome into KCBD Sports. I'm Berkeley Adams. Well, the Lady Raider basketball team hosted TCU for their last home game of the season tonight. We'll take you straight to the highlights. Well, Bryn Grillick was out with an injury. First quarter, Bree Scott steps back, sinks the three, her 40th of the season, to keep Tech ahead by 3. Riley McKinney inside to Katie Farrell, off to Kyla Freelon. She connects to the net to keep Tech ahead, leading by 4. Well, second quarter, McKinney back to Farrell, this time to an open Bree Scott. She sinks her second 3 of the night to extend the lead. Late second, Bailey Maupin sneaks it in to Kyla Freelon. She goes back to the layup and the score. Tech leads by 19 going into the half. Third quarter, Farrell to Scott for the buzzer beater 3 to keep Tech firing ahead. McKinney, she finds her way inside the paint for the jumper. Tech leads by 19. Fourth quarter we go as Farrell to Chevalier. She sinks her second three as a Lady Raider. Texas Tech won 66-49 over TCU for their last home game of the season before going to Iowa State on Saturday. Well, Texas Tech baseball hosted Air Force this afternoon. Bottom of the first, bases loaded. Drew Woodcock's connect, sends it to deep right. It bounces off the wall, and he clears the bases to put the Red Raiders up by 3 as Woodcock's gets another triple. Bottom of the second, Woodcock's again. This time, the connection sends it to deep left center field, and it's gone. Woodcock's brings around Austin Green as he collects his second home run of the season. Tech up by 6. Well, bottom of the third, Woodcock sends a sac fly to right field to bring around Kevin Basil to put Tech in double digits. Bottom of the 8th we go. Jarrett Curtis, he sends it past a diving shortstop to bring around Gavin Cash. The Red Raiders cash in, taking a big 18-5 lead as they go on to win over Air Force, sweeping them 18-5, putting them 10-0 overall on the season as they head to Houston this weekend. Well, Texas Tech's softball team opens home play tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Rocky Johnson Field. The Red Raiders are 12-5 overall after concluding their 3 tournaments on the road in February. They swept in the UTEP tournament in El Paso, and they're ready to be home.
It's going to be exciting, right? I mean, you know, hopefully as a coach, you always try to keep your head on the game and do that. But I'm sure there'll be a moment when the anthem happens, you look around and go, this is neat, this is great, and this is what we've been working for. So looking forward to that, you know, is, I guess, the first time playing at home in front of our crowd.
Yeah, it feels really great. It's been a long time since I've played, since last year. So it's been finally nice to play somebody else other than just scrimmaging ourselves on the field. Yeah, I've seen it good. Just having the comfortableness of like coming in with Coach Snyder here, Coach Mo, I've known them forever, so that just made the transition really smooth, and all the girls have been very welcoming and have made this transition really easy for me.
Well, out at Coronado this afternoon, shortstop Jet Carroll signed to play baseball at Lubbock Christian University. Carroll is a multi-sport athlete, including the Mustangs varsity starting quarterback, but decided to play baseball at the collegiate level. He is excited for the opportunity to stay in Lubbock and make his dream of playing at TCU come true.
I mean, all through high school and playing baseball since I was a kid, this is the moment you dream of, so it feels good to finally get out of the way and get ready for this season, kind of get that weight off your shoulders as a senior. It's really special. I mean, it's a place you grow up going to camps there as a kid and going to games, and I'm just blessed and so thankful for this opportunity. I get to stay here and play baseball in front of these guys. I've dreamed of playing at LCU since I was a kid. It's been a long time in the making. I've been going working out with their coaches for a while, and then LCU blessed me with this offer, and it was just something I couldn't turn down.
Well, that's it for sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Brittany Michelson is coverage.
If you missed the almost UFOs tonight, John says we have another chance tomorrow, although they're not quite as good a picture as it was tonight, but close.
Yeah, it'll be a little different tomorrow night. It'll be more Venus a little higher and Jupiter a little bit lower because they're gradually going to separate over the next, month or so. But tonight they were in conjunction and technically about a moon apart, believe it or not. So it was spectacular. And it'll be on our Facebook pages. I just posted on mine.
Good.
Looking at our forecast going into the weekend, we're looking for temperatures tomorrow a little lower, plenty of wind, a high wind watch in effect, some elevated fire danger, potential of some light areas of rain and showers, and then that may change over to snow late tomorrow night briefly, not expecting accumulations around Lubbock. Into the weekend, severe weather awareness day. I hope I have my voice for that.
All right, we do too. Thank you, John. And thank you very much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow.
Hope you had a great day and have a better day tomorrow. We'll see you then. Good night.